What's going on, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here, and today we are talking about strumming patterns. Super important intro lesson to strumming and rhythm, more specifically. Now, some people are like, I don't have rhythm, it's hard for me to play an instrument. Lies, false. You do have rhythm. Everybody has an internal rhythm that they can tap into. It's all about just kind of discovering it and finding it, and teaching proper strumming techniques is a very important way to do that. So the only ability you need to have right now is the ability to count to 4 over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On time, evenly. Kind of like a metronome. Definitely, I would recommend using a metronome when doing these kind of exercises and patterns, but not necessary. You really just have to be steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. If the best you can do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, then yeah, you probably have some issues that you might want to look into, but I'm pretty sure that you can count to 4 over and over again, and that's what we're going to do. So the example we're going to use right now is just an A minor chord to kind of have something where we're not just strumming open string sets, all right? So open A, middle finger, 2D, ring finger, 2G, pointer finger, 1B, and then open E again. We're going to learn 2 basic patterns in different time signatures, and then learn how you can actually make them sound more professional and more interesting, and also to harness your own creativity in making your own strumming patterns too. So basically, as simple as it gets is counting to 4, everything is going to be downstroke, every single number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Every time in your mind that number's happening, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people like to maybe stomp their foot with it, nod their head, whatever you want to do. Everybody has their own internal way of keeping timing. You just want it to be steady. Make sure it's a chord that you're really comfortable with. Don't even worry so much about switching chords right now. We'll get into that later. But every downstroke is a down number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you actually notice, my strumming hand, this is kind of important. The length of my stroke is the length of the string set, right? If the string set is that long, the stroke should be that long. It's a wrist muscle memory. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get into that kind of thing, you're actually risking a lot of inefficiencies, because if you go this far down, you have to come that far up. Once you get into different strumming patterns, faster strumming patterns, you're going to have a hard time doing it. You want to be as efficient as possible in a comfortable way. I've got my arm kind of braced on the body of the guitar here, and it's just the length of the string set, which is going to be really handy in coming back up. Because every time you go down, you have to come back up again. Unless you're doing like a super power metal, windmill, rock type thing, you always got to come up again. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next step is adding an upstroke. Now these are going to be ands. Now what that means, I'm going to say the word and in between the numbers. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, that's not going to change. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm just adding the word and in between, and that's where the upstroke will come in, okay? So we have a downbeat, a number, and the word and is going to be like offbeat or upbeat, some people call. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You'll notice that the downbeat is still the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we start adding the upbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Your hands got to come up anyways, so you might as well just hit the strings on your way up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now these aren't really technically strumming patterns yet. The first pattern we're going to do is we're going to start eliminating some of those and beats. It's going to be all 4 downbeats, and we're going to add an upstroke to the and of 3. That means the 3 and. It's kind of, that's how you say it. You say the and of 3. So the and of whatever downbeat is going to follow. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, you can get a little faster with this if you want. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're just selectively taking that third beat, and then we're playing on the way up. Now, a really common one, and this is one we're going to kind of delve a little deeper into, is going to be adding upstrokes to both the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Notice, if you look at my hand, nothing's actually different on the end of 1 and the end of 2, other than I'm just not hitting the strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm just kind of skipping the string sets on my way up. That's a really great way to kind of keep good internal timing. It's not that you're adding anything to the timing, you're just choosing to hit the strings during that section of time. If you think of adding something to a beat, like if we're just going to add the 3 and the 4 and, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and, sometimes that makes you rush because you're kind of like, okay, I have to add something. You're not really adding anything, you're just arriving on the strings during that moment in time, which is present on the other 2 beats, you're just not hitting it on those beats. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to turn it into this strumming pattern. Which sounds a lot different than. Because now we're getting dynamic with it, all right? So again, it's just a 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. The last half of this bar, those 4 beats being the 1 bar, the last half of the bar has upstrokes with it. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. Now the reason that sounds different is because on the 1, I'm just kind of aiming for the root note, maybe like the open A string. Doesn't have to just hit that. Maybe I can hit maybe just some of the lower strings. 1, 2. And then the second downstroke, I'm hitting the higher part of the string set. So I'm kind of breaking the strings into little pieces. On the 1 downbeat, I hit the low strings. On the 2 downbeat, I hit the high strings. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. Now you can do the same thing with the 3, it's and the 4, and it's and. For the 3, I'm hitting the lower strings, and I'm coming up. And then for the 4, I'm hitting the higher strings, and I'm coming up. Same chord, I'm not doing anything different, but I'm getting a different sound. It's more of a dynamic strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's kind of like a strumming pattern because it's something you can apply to different chords. So let's just do the same pattern, but now I'll change chords after every bar. I'll start with like an A minor, C, and G. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and C, G, and another G, A, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Maybe that's fast for you. Definitely, speed is not important. You just want to be able to play it in good timing. The number one way that you'll sound bad is just playing with broken timing. You can be playing like really kind of difficult chords, but if you're not playing them in time, you know, you can be playing like. It doesn't matter, right? It's all about keeping good timing. If you have rock solid timing and you can play open chords, you'll have a spot in a band anywhere. So really, that's one of the best ways to kind of increase your musicianship is by training that good timing in you, whether it's a metronome, played super slow until you can kind of get those chord changes. The speed of the metronome should be the same as however long it takes you to change chords. So if it takes me this long to go from a C chord to a C chord, that's the length between 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 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 4. And again, notice my wrist. I'm not going way all over the place. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's just real steady. One way to kind of test it is just to mute your strings. Just hold them. Don't hold them down. Hold them so they don't vibrate. So you get this kind of muted clicking sound. It's a good way to kind of percussively hear if you're doing something in time. Even if it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and whatever works for you. Everybody kind of has different practice routines. Now, the second pattern I want to do is going to be in a different time signature. All the time signature means is what number you count to. We're counting to 4 over and over again, that first one. That was in 4 would be a way we could describe that first time signature. This next one is going to be in 3, a waltz, in 3 or even 6 if you want to count it that way. But it's going to sound like this. So, totally different feel because we're in 3. It's a waltz. It has kind of like a back and forth type sound. It's an odd number. Same thing with the A minor. It's going to be 1, 2, and 3 and. Okay? And we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. First, if we start just doing that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe the 1 is a little louder. It's a little more dynamic. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to add upstrokes to the 2 and the 3, the and of 2 and the and of 3. And for the 1, I'm just going to hit the lower of the strings. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. Okay, now I want to break this into 2 bars of 3. Otherwise, you could also count this as 6. Doesn't matter. Some people like to count to 6, some people like to count to 3. As long as they're divisible by each other, then it's fine. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What I'm doing is, I'm dynamically hitting the 1, and then I'm kind of getting that same, the lower strings, 2 and 3 and. 1, 2, and 3 and. The next bar, the next 3 count, I'm doing the same chord, but now I'm getting the higher parts. 1, 2, and 3 and. So the first 3 count is 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. So I'm getting a low to high thing back and forth. You can count this in 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5. Or you can count 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. To C chord. To a G. So it's the same chord progression that we used for the 1 and 4, but has a totally different sound. And that's why strumming patterns are really important, and they're something that you want to practice. With a metronome, maybe with a backing track even, like a drum track, something like that. You can always find those online. Really great practicing, but you want to be able to do it in time, and you want to be able to keep a count in your head. A lot of people will teach strumming patterns as like down, 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 up, down, 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 up, which is cool, but I think there comes a point where memorizing downs and ups is a very daunting thing to do and something that's really difficult to do real time. So learning proper counting and then having the down beats, the numbers be downstrokes, and the word and in between those numbers be upstrokes is something that I think is really important. And getting those fundamental countings down is just really a must-have skill for any musician who wants to be able to play in time. So work on these in different time signatures. And the way that you can use these to be creative is just to maybe add or eliminate the number or the down or the word up or and in between those. So let's say you just want to be creative. It's like, okay, we have a 4 count on an A minor, and I'm going to do the upstroke with each one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Maybe I'm just going to randomly eliminate the 3 downstroke. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's something that will be trickier when you're first starting out, but eventually you kind of get a feel for the dynamics of like what a strumming pattern sounds like without the downbeat of the 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. To me, I think that's a better way than thinking of down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, pause, up, down, up. It's the same difference, really. So whatever works for you, but again, I'm a big fan of counting, and I think it's something every musician should have. So even if you're just starting out, it's definitely going to be something that you want to work on. So if you got those 2 patterns down, and you're feeling like taking it to the step beyond, you're in luck because we've got a bunch of other videos around here it's going to help you out. So feel free to click on some of those and investigate, and definitely leave us some comments of more stuff that you'd like to see, and we'll get back to you soon. Thanks a lot.